Hey Year 8s! This week we learned about finding the whole and interest rates. Our first section, 1.5, was pretty straightforward. An example of this, 3/4 of something is going to give me 21, and I need to figure out what that 21 is. We learned a nice little trick where if I just divide by the number at the top and multiply by the number at the bottom, I'm going to get my answer. So here, 21 divided by 3 is 7. 7 multiplied by 4 is 28. So the part that I'm missing here, the whole, is 28. 3/4 of 28 will give me 21. The section never really got more challenging than this, so let's move straight on from there onto interest. Now interest, or as you would say in Swedish, ränta, refers to extra money that you pay on top of money that you already owe. So if, for example, you go to the bank, this is the banker, we'll just say Wartortle is a banker, and he says,
"Hi, I am Wartortle. I work for Wartortle Bank, and I am going to give you a loan of 150,000 Swedish crowns, but you have an interest rate of 5%, and I'm going to give you 1 year. It's going to be 5%, and it's going to be 1 year that you've got to pay it off."
So the capital, the amount that you are starting off with, the loan, is 150,000 crowns. The interest is going to be 5% of the 150,000 crowns. Now, luckily in these sections, we generally get our calculators, which we can work with. But if you didn't have your calculator, it would be important to remember from section 1.2 that percentages and fractions and decimals can be written in different ways. We can convert. So 5% would be the same as 0,05 would be the same as 5/100. So keep that in mind if you don't have a calculator and you've got to work this out. So in this example, 5% of the 150,000 krona loan that you've taken out is 7,500 krona. So the interest is 7,500, but the total amount that you owe at the end of all of this would be all of this put together, which would be 157,000 Swedish crowns. Sorry, there's a cat in the background who is very, very noisy. I found something in the book that we'll go through now, which will basically walk us through any examples that you'll come across. I'm here looking at number 1133 from page 48 of your textbook. Here, just so that you don't get confused with the English, this is capital in the beginning. This is the interest rate. This is time, how long we have to pay back that loan or how long it takes us to do it. And then this is the actual interest. Okay, so here in this first example, the capital, the money that I'm borrowing, is 4,400. The interest rate is 2.5%. The time is ett kvartal. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a little bit tricky. And I want to figure out what the interest is. So ett kvartal, if I remember, is a quarter. So they're saying that your interest rate is 2.5% for 1 year, but it takes you a quarter of a year to pay it back. So we've got to keep that in mind. All right, let's do this. So 2.5%, or if I'm here on my calculator, 0,025 multiplied by my capital, 4,400, is going to give me 110. So you're probably like, oh my word, yes, 110. Let's go. But nay, stop, wait a second. It says here, ett kvartal. It says that it is a quarter of the time. It takes you a quarter of a year to pay this back. So you're going to need to take 110 and divide it by 4, and that'll be 27,5 Swedish crowns. Gorgeous. All right, this next one here, our capital is 1,600. I don't know what the interest rate is. It's going to take us a year to pay it back, and I wind up getting 24 crowns of interest at the end. So if we think about this based on other sections that we've done up to this point, here, some percentage, so some kind of fraction, I'll just say question mark, multiplied by my capital is going to give me 24 Swedish crowns. Now, I need to figure out what this question mark is, but I can't do this because this 1,600 is in the way. So if I divide each side by 1,600, I'm going to wind up with an answer, right? Let's see what happens if I divide 24 by 1,600. I get 0,015. Okay, not bad. 0,015. But I see here that all of these guys that I'm working with are percentages. So how am I going to take this decimal and change it into a percentage? Well, that we know how to do. We do it by multiplying by 100. So my answer here is going to be 1,5%. Great. So this is 1,5%. Okay, next one that we have is 4% of something is going to give me my interest of 1,000. Okay, this looks a little bit familiar. So 4%, 4 over 100 of something will give me 1,000. We just went through this in 1.5. So if I divide by the number at the top, multiply by the number at the bottom, I'm going to get my answer. So here, 1,000 divided by 4 is 250, times by 100 is 25,000. So my answer here is 25,000. That's the capital that I started off with at the beginning. And our very last one here, I have 240,000 Swedish crowns at an interest rate of 2.5%, and they told me that the interest at the end was 3,000 crowns. So I've got 2.5% of 240,000, and it's supposed to give me 3,000 Swedish crowns, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. Let's see what happens here. So 2.5% of 240,000 Swedish crowns gives me 6,000 crowns. Whoa, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. So I wound up getting 6,000 crowns, but it says here 3,000 crowns. So what do you think happened here? Why do you think I've gotten 6,000 crowns here, but the interest that I paid is only 3,000 crowns? Well, it's got to be because the amount of time that I took to do this was different. It only took me half of a year to do this. So here, the time is actually half of a year. There's a lot more examples in the textbook that you can go through. I hope this made it a little bit more clearer for you though. And if you do get stuck, you can always come ask me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.